Rule number 1 of being a fire lookout. You are the eyes of the forest. You are the guardian. And above all, you are alone. But on September 24th, 1999, a lookout named Elias Thorne broke that rule. Not because he invited someone up to his glass tower 8,000 feet above sea level, but because someone was already there. At 11:42 p.m., dispatch received a transmission from Thorne. He wasn't screaming about a fire. He was whispering. He said he was looking through his binoculars at the trail below. He said he saw a man hiking up towards the tower in a yellow raincoat. The dispatcher asked, "Why is that a problem, Elias?" And Elias replied, "Because I'm wearing a yellow raincoat and he has my face." To understand the disappearance of Elias Thorne, we have to look at the geography of the Blackwood Ridge National Forest. It is 300,000 acres of dense pine, sheer granite cliffs, and absolute silence. It is a place where GPS signals die and compasses tend to drift. In the late 90s, the Forest Service operated a network of fire towers here. The most isolated of these was Tower 4. It sits on a jagged peak, accessible only by a 6-hour hike. It is a 14 by 14 foot glass box in the sky. According to personnel files, Elias Thorne was a 34-year-old former air traffic controller from Chicago. He had suffered a nervous breakdown a year prior. He wasn't looking for adventure. He was looking for isolation. He wanted a job where the only responsibility was to watch the horizon. He arrived at Tower 4 on June 1st. His logbooks from the first 3 months are mundane. He writes about the weather, the eagles, the specific shade of blue the sky turns at dusk. He sounds healed, calm. But on page 42 of his logbook, dated September 15th, there is a strange entry. He writes, "Radio acted up today. Picked up a signal from Tower 3, just static, but it sounded like breathing. Here is the problem. Tower 3 burned to the ground in 1989. It has been a pile of ash for 10 years. There is no radio at Tower 3. Isolation does strange things to the human mind. Psychologists call it the third man factor, or high-altitude psychosis. When the brain is deprived of social stimuli, it starts to manufacture them. It creates patterns in the noise. Imagine living in that glass box. For 100 days, you don't hear a single human voice except for the dispatcher's morning check-in. The silence of the forest isn't empty. It's heavy. It presses against the glass. Elias started to mention the scopaesthesia effect in his audio logs, the biological sensation of being stared at. At night, Tower 4 becomes a lit fishbowl. You are inside in the light. The entire world outside is pitch black. You can't see out, but everything in the woods can see in. On September 18th, Elias records an audio tape. The background noise is just the wind howling against the metal struts. He speaks slowly, sounding tired. Voice actor impression. It's not the wind. The wind has a rhythm. This is mimetic. I was chopping wood this morning down at the base. I heard the axe hit the wood. And then, a second later, from the ridge opposite me, I heard the echo. But an echo gets quieter. This sound, it was louder. Someone else was chopping wood. He notes that birds in his sector stopped singing. The silence became absolute. He began to cover the windows at night with blankets, leaving only narrow slits to look through. He was hiding in his own watchtower. The liminal nature of the tower, neither on the ground nor in the sky, neither a home nor an office, began to erode his sense of reality. He mentions waking up and seeing his reflection in the glass, and for a split second, thinking the reflection didn't blink when he did. This is classic dissociation, but dissociation doesn't explain what happened to the radio frequencies on the night of the storm. September 24th. A massive storm front moves over Blackwood Ridge. Thunder shakes the foundations of Tower 4. At 10 p.m., Elias locks the trapdoor, the only entrance to the tower. We have the transcript of the radio communications from that night. It starts with static. And then, a voice cuts through. It's clear. It's calm. And it sounds exactly like Elias. Radio voice. Dispatch, this is Tower 4. All clear, storm is beautiful tonight. Elias, recording. Who is this? Dispatch, there is someone on my frequency. Who is transmitting? Radio voice. I don't hear anything, dispatch. Just some interference. I'm going to make some coffee. Elias grabs his handset, his hands shaking. He screams that he is Tower 4, but the dispatcher doesn't reply to him. The dispatcher replies to the other voice. Think about the horror of that. Being replaced in real time, being erased. At 11:15 p.m., Elias grabs his binoculars. A flash of lightning illuminates the trail leading up to the tower. It's a narrow path, steep and rocky. And there, about 500 yards down, he sees it. A figure. Hiking in the pouring rain. No flashlight. Moving with an unnatural fluid speed. The figure is wearing a bright yellow standard issue Forest Service raincoat. Elias describes the figure into his tape recorder. He's not using his hands to climb. He's just gliding up the rocks. He's looking up, right at me. Another lightning flash. The figure is closer now. 200 yards. Elias adjusts the focus. The figure's hood is down. The rain is plastering the hair to the skull. Elias stops speaking. The tape captures only his ragged breathing for a full minute. Then, a whisper. He has my scar. He has the cut on his chin from shaving this morning. The terror here isn't a monster with claws. It is the terror of the uncanny valley. The thing coming up the stairs isn't a beast. It is a perfect copy. A biological mirror image that wants to take its place. 11:50 p.m. The sound of boots on the metal stairs outside. Clang, clang, clang. Slow, deliberate. Elias backs into the corner of the glass box. He is armed only with a flare gun. The footsteps stop at the trapdoor in the floor. The handle begins to turn. But the trapdoor is locked. Then the radio crackles one last time. The voice comes from the speaker, but it also comes from outside the door, muffled by the floorboards. Voice. Elias, open the door. It's cold out here, and we have work to do. The tape ends with the sound of glass shattering, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. When the rescue team arrived at Tower 4 the next morning, the storm had passed. The sky was a piercing, innocent blue. They found the tower empty. The windows were broken. The trapdoor was still locked from the inside. There was no sign of a struggle, no blood, just a flare gun lying on the floor, fired once. But here is the detail that keeps me awake at night. The logbook was open on the desk. The final entry was written in handwriting that matched Elias Thorne's perfectly, but the ink was still wet. It read simply, "Incident resolved. The imposter has been removed. Resume watch." Elias Thorne was never found. Or maybe he never left. Maybe the man who walked down those stairs the next morning, who quit the Forest Service a week later, and who now lives a quiet life in Seattle, is the one who climbed up the stairs in the rain. There is a theory called the Capgras Delusion, where a patient believes a loved one has been replaced by an identical imposter. But what happens when the imposter is you? If you ever find yourself alone in the deep woods and you see a figure approaching in the distance who walks like you, dresses like you, and has your face, don't wait to see if they are friendly. Run. Because in nature, there is no such thing as a mirror.